I'm grateful to the Honourable friend for Keighley for bringing this debate to this chamber. Fireworks, as we've heard, can be a very polarising subject, and in the run-up to this debate, like many others, I've had countless emails from animal lovers in my constituency who want to see certain fireworks banned, with noise limits and other restrictions introduced. But I've also had briefings from fireworks fans and lovers of our bonfire night traditions who worry about moves to change the law. Someone who's also always understood both sides of that debate is Alan Smith, and it's on Alan's behalf that I speak today. As my honourable friend for Keighley has said, Alan is the son of my constituent Josephine Smith. She was a beautiful 88-year-old lady from Haroldwood who lost her life in a house fire after a lit firework was stuffed through her letterbox in October 2021. Now, Alan is in the gallery today, and I'm very grateful to him for his courage in highlighting an issue that has caused him and his family such pain and trauma. Alan recently came to Parliament to speak to me, and I know that he's also spoken to my honourable friend for Keighley. He described the role that Guy Fawkes Night has always played in his happy family when growing up, one of the few times of the year that everybody gets together. Each year, like many families, his dad Derek would go to the shop to buy a little display box, a pack of sparklers and maybe a pack of rockets. Josephine would make the jacket potatoes, their 2 ponies were put in their stables and the cattle were put in another field, and their dog would go into the house with the radio on. In raising his own family, Alan always had a fireworks display or himself in the garden or attended a local organised display. His experience was like that of countless other constituents of ours. But on the 28th of October 2021, those happy memories and traditions were upended. Around 9 o'clock at the night, he was woken by his wife Lisa with the words he still hears every day: "Al, your mum's house is on fire." When he rushed to Josephine's home, he recalls seeing emergency services outside the building and then seeing his mother's body brought lifeless in a fireman's arms. The scene, he says, was like being in a horror movie. A fire officer later came over to say, "We found a firework just inside the door." Early the next morning, the family were told that arrests had been made. An 18-year-old and 15-year-old had put a firework deliberately through Josephine's door. They were later charged with arson and manslaughter, and during the trial at the Old Bailey, CCTV of the night in question was shown. It showed teenagers laughing and joking with the salesperson. I've seen the CCTV with Alan, and it is very, very worrying. The conversation from the two youths included the following: "People are going to get terrorised tonight," and then they say, "We're going to throw them at the police." The person manning the shop goes on to say, "You can hold them, throw them, do what you like with them." Alan's entire family were distraught. 2 stupid boys had been sold fireworks by a man with apparently years of experience in selling them, yet he had full knowledge of their intentions. Both of those young people are now serving custodial sentences, but then a further trial had to take place of the shop owner and the sales assistant. The 2 youths, as Alan says, were stupid, irresponsible thugs who hadn't had the best of childhoods, and they weren't even thinking about that havoc that was caused in their lives that night. In contrast, the retailer was a grown man with years of experience in selling fireworks, yet he still decided to sell them to a minor who had stated their own intentions to terrorise. Fireworks for sale, the shop involved, was then fined in the region of £17,000. The seller himself was fined £1,200 and received a 6-week sentence, which was suspended for 12 months. Now, the actions of the shop that night made Alan question whether the laws and the regulations of the sale of fireworks are robust enough, and that brings me here today, debating a petition that Alan started from his grief and his desire not to see future tragedies play out like that which led to the loss of his beautiful mother. The debate around the use of fireworks creates a great deal of division, but despite that tragedy, Alan can still see both sides of this argument. Arguing and insulting each other, he says, is not the way to a sensible and mutually agreeable solution to this problem. He asks for a sensible, respectful debate so that those who wish to enjoy fireworks on the few important days of the year can do so, and in turn, those who have pets, PTSD, mental health issues and so on, only have to manage their situation on a handful of dates a year. The fireworks that were used to take Josephine's life were bought on a whim on a local high street, and he asked whether a more robust licence requirement might have prevented her death. Now, the Minister's kindly agreed to meet me and Alan in the new year, and so I just want, before that date, to have ask some very brief questions on Alan's behalf. First, he asks whether fireworks can currently be used from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night, 365 days of the year. Would a 4 o'clock in the afternoon to a 10 o'clock p.m. window be more acceptable? Second, F2 fireworks are required to have a safe distance of 8 metres, while the safe distance for F3 fireworks is 25 metres. With the vast majority of UK gardens not meeting that minimum size, is it safe to use them in private gardens, Alan asks. Third, fireworks can be bought easily on the high street. It was an impulse that resulted in Josephine's death. Do regulations around high street sale need to change? 4, even fireworks that are set off legally at organised displays often don't take into account the surroundings. Should there be safe buffer zones around such establishments? Many debates have taken place over years, and the response is often that the industry is already heavily regulated and that the regulations are adequate. So I ask on Alan's behalf, and on behalf of everybody whose constituents are affected by this, is now the time to look at this issue much more deeply so that future tragedies like that which affected Josephine do not happen.